Hey y'all. So I was sitting and I was thinking about all of the things that I post to my Facebook business page. All of those articles on there, and not very many videos, if any videos at all, are on there. And so I figured the best way to disseminate, the fastest way to disseminate information would probably be to do a really quick video hitting the highlights of certain things. And the first thing that came to mind is the first thing that I normally hear whenever I reveal to someone that I'm a realtor. The first question is, how's the market? Okay. And here lately, because of COVID, I would imagine, I have just been blowing minds because they be clutching their pearls, child, and all. So if I tell them it is what it is, which means it's doing well, things are moving forward, transactions are taking place. COVID has slowed things down and changed things, but COVID has not stopped the train. Okay, so I want to show you rather than tell you. So I'm just going to go straight to this little bar graph here. And so when I first started looking at this, I was just looking at Prince George's County. And then I felt like that looked really stupid sitting there with just one little bar. So I then added a couple of our neighbors. This red bar represents Howard County, purple represents Montgomery County, and blue is good old Prince George's County. Okay, so I did a year-over-year comparison of closed sales, just the raw number of transactions that took place in these three counties for the last 3 months, April, May, and June, right? And I didn't specify a type of structure. These could be single family homes, these could be townhouses, whatever, you know what I mean? I just said show me the transactions, period. So bear with me. And for those of you who don't know, I'm sorry, year over year just simply means you're taking the data. So if I'm looking at April 2020, for example, I'm going to go back to April 2019 and compare that to how we performed in April 2020 to give me, sort of a perspective on what's happening, what the climate is, just to add to the picture. It's not a complete picture, but it gives you some perspective. Okay. So real quick, if you hover over this, you see in April 2020, when things just started going downhill, child, everything was getting all shut down and everybody was panicking or starting to panic anyway. We saw a 13.3% decrease in sales. So that means in April 2019, we closed 13.3% more transactions than we did in April 2020. Okay. Hover over red, we got Howard County at a 6.6 decrease. Montgomery County is at 11.5. And let me tell you, typically when you look at these graphs and you see your year over year, you're seeing single digit changes. So this right here, like alarm bells are going off, right? We stroll on over to May and we have a 33.4% decrease in the number of closed transactions, okay, in Prince George's County. Howard County is seeing 38.8% decreases, while Montgomery County is seeing 35.5%. So we're all pretty much within that same, 30-something% range. Which is, you have to you look at the silver lining. If we're all seeing that kind of consistency and we're within the same range, we can pretty much correlate that to stressors from COVID. You know what I'm saying? There's not some underlying issue going on. It's COVID. That's the major change, and everybody around us is having the same level of change. So then we go on to June and we just outdid ourselves. Prince George's County had we actually were in the positive, okay? So we had a 1.9% increase in closed transactions in Prince George's County versus June of 2019. So we rebounded really, really well in the month of June. And this is what I'm talking about when people ask me and I say things are moving along. Howard County is still down about 4%, but let me tell you something, child. I bet they'll take that 4% over that 38.8. Okay. So they still went back up. They had a long way to go, but they still went back up. Montgomery County is they're still struggling a little bit there with that 13.8% decrease, but it's still trending in the right direction because they're not still at 35.5 or worse. Okay. So like I said, I just wanted to show you this so that you could understand, like I said, things are still happening. We have had to pivot. We have had to adjust, but that's Darwin for you, right? So we have adjusted. The real estate industry has taken certain precautions to make sure that everybody stays safe, just like any other industry. In the state of Maryland, the buyer and the seller do not have to necessarily be in the same room to close a transaction. So yes, you can go all the way through your settlement, and if you're the seller, you're getting your cash. If you're the buyer, you're getting your keys, and you don't necessarily have to rub elbows with the other side of the transaction, meaning the buyer and the seller do not have to commingle. Okay. All right. So just really quickly, I'm going to do the prices. So in April in PG County, we saw a 12% increase. Howard saw 12.5%. Montgomery saw 8% increase. And these are prices. These are average closed prices of not homes necessarily, but closed transactions, right? Move over to May. We are still up 5.3% as far as the average price, closed price of these transactions. Okay, so that's basic supply and demand. We saw a dip in the amount of new listings that came on the market because obviously people were apprehensive, especially if they're still living in their homes and they're trusting people to come in and out. So that's why you still see the increase in the price across the 3 counties, except for Montgomery. They just dropped 0.2, but that's not a huge deal. And then in June, we see 10.6% increases. So this is excellent news for sellers because inventory is low. We need your home because even though you have this increase in the price, as you know, the Fed has dropped the rates to historically low rates, levels, right? So what that means is you have a lot of qualified buyers out there. And in a lot of scenarios, you're seeing bidding wars. And I think it's like about 30% of closed homes have multiple offer situations. So you're not looking for buyers. You're trying to figure out what's the best scenario for me to take here. What can I gross the highest rate if I pick one offer over another, right? So as a seller, that is to your advantage. As a buyer, to be able to come in and take advantage of historically low rates, I mean, it doesn't get any better. It's a very, very unique situation. Okay. Real quick, I just want to address something else that I hear all the time, because if we're talking about buyers, especially new first-time buyers, as soon as they tell me I want to buy a house, the very first thing I say to them is, have you spoken with a lender? If not, I can put you in contact with some really great ones. The first thing I hear is, well, I'm working on this situation here, and I had to do this, and my dog died, and when the dog died, I had to take the dog to the vet to get the dog cremated, and my car broke down, and the wheel popped off, and listen, I hear it all. And it really boils down to the fear of rejection, right? And the unknown. Just like with this whole COVID thing, it's the fear of the unknown, okay? But the best thing that you can do for yourself, even if you are thinking about buying, especially really if you're thinking about buying in the next year, you need to talk to a lender. Most people, the average person is going to get approved outright, and you don't even realize it. The average person will be approved outright with your first conversation. Okay, you get your pre-approval. But for those of you who may be in situations where you're struggling, the lender will take a look and tell you exactly where you need to focus your time, energy, and efforts so that you don't get discouraged and start feeling like you're just treading water and you're not getting anywhere. A lender is a great resource to give you a roadmap and tell you exactly what you need to do. They will literally say, focus on this, and this, and within X amount of months, we're going to go back and we're going to revisit your profile, and I bet you that you are going to be approved for the amount that you want at a decent interest rate. Okay, so I will be your cheerleader. I will help you through and be your accountability partner once you get your marching orders from a lender. But in addition, once again, don't take my word for it. Let me show you here. Like I said, I'd rather show you than tell you. So this is one. Don't kill me. This is some more graphs. But it's useful for you to see it. I feel like it drives the point home. So this is just what it says. May 2020 average FICO score distribution. So for these 4 types of transactions, these are the buckets within which people were approved, the FICO scores that the people had who were approved in the month of May 2020, just across the board, right? So if we're just looking at conventional loans, you can see the majority of the people, 47.43%, had a FICO score of 750 to 799. However, let's go on down here because I know a lot of people live right here, right? 650 to 699. All right. You still have 7%, okay, of all people who were approved for a conventional loan in the month of May held a score somewhere within this range right here. Okay. Do not be discouraged. All right. Go on over to FHA real quick. You're going to look at this and you'll see this 600 to 650 range. That is almost 20% of the folks who were approved, okay, for an FHA loan held a FICO score within 600 to 649, all right? And you still have down here your 550 to 599, almost 2% of the people who were approved for FHA loans fell within this range. Down here, you're still getting approved. It might not be the best scenario. You might not have the most ideal interest rate. You might be asked to put down a lot of money. However, they're still being approved. And I guarantee you, some of the people who wound up here in this range, a lot of them probably were not there a year ago or even a few months ago, but they took the time out to take charge and use their time wisely so they could dedicate their efforts where they were needed most. If you came into 2020 with the dream of either purchasing your first home or purchasing rental property, investment property, rental property, a little questionable right now, I ain't gonna lie. But if you came into 2020 with the dream of acquiring some type of real estate or downgrading your home, upgrading your home to a larger home or moving to a smaller home, realize the dream. Nothing is holding you back. You are standing in your own way. Things are still happening in the real estate industry. If you want to talk further, if you want to list your home, feel free to contact me at 240-475-0751. If you want to list your home or if you want to purchase a new home, feel free to contact me. Also at agentgin.com, agentginn.com. Okay. There's all kinds of contact methods. My email is Ginniferm as in Mary @gmail.com. So, or just message me on Facebook. It could be that simple. Have a wonderful day and I'll talk to you soon.